How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today's video we look at 3 new tanks that you can get for free within World of Tanks console. There's plenty of them to actually earn within the next couple of weeks. Definitely get your hands on these if you can. Obviously they're free tanks, so of course you don't actually have to pay anything. There's just a time investment, I guess, in terms of being able to get them. So we will have a look at what you need to do in particular, and of course hopefully you do enjoy this video. Now, first things first, what is the first tank that you can pick up? Well, it is the tier 6 Plaguebringer. This is a mercenary contract that is coming out. So it's similar to the Needle operation that we had a couple weeks ago. And then I think it finished like maybe a week ago. You're basically able to get your hands on this tier 6 tank destroyer. So it's a mix of between, I guess, a Hellcat and an M4 Sherman, if that makes sense. It's an interesting one. Certainly you get really nice penetration, you get good damage, you get good hit points with the vehicle as well, so it's okay. Certainly can go quite fast, 50 kilometers an hour forward, which is actually decent considering you are an M4 Sherman hull. Yeah, a decent tank, 370 meters view range, which is fantastic for a tier 6. You can boost that up to some unbelievable kind of statistics, I'd say. Additionally, you know, you've got that 240 alpha damage, which is perfect for tier 6. You can really tear apart your opponents, so you're going to be coming up against... This thing is actually quite underrated, I'd say. Fantastic aim time, which means that you're going to be able to snap onto people with the tank, and the accuracy isn't bad either, 0.35 with all of the boosts and equipment. If you so want to put that on here, will basically allow you to kind of be a better M4 Sherman at tier 6, if that makes sense. So better than the Sherman Jumbo, that sort of thing. Of course, you don't get the armor because you do have this kind of T25/2/Hellcat turret, which doesn't have particularly the best armor in the game. And of course, the M4 Sherman hull, yeah, it definitely doesn't have the best hull in the game, but it is the M4A2E4 Sherman. So I think that is the Sherman Jumbo. So I think you've got better armor than the standard M4 Sherman within the game. Now, you don't earn any extra silver with this tank. You also don't earn any extra XP. You get a little bit of XP earn rate, I think, and obviously everything is just the same as any other tank in the game. So I don't think you actually get any extra boosts with this tank. So it's literally just a tank that you can play. Yeah, a decent one. How can you actually earn this tank? Well, there is a way or a few ways for you to be able to pick up this tank within the game. As of the current moment anyway, you can basically see this is the tank. Of course, looks quite nice. It's not an awful looking tank within the game. But yeah, you are going to be prone to artillery, of course, because you have no top of the turret, basically. What does this also come with? Well, of course, it comes with a commander with the tank, so that's always nice. So if you're interested in getting yourself a decent commander, this tank comes with one, which is absolutely perfect, at least in terms of a new player. If you're a new player on the game, this is one of the things you want to be aiming to get, just even for the commander itself. Gives you a couple of free crew skills that you'll be able to put on it, and also the tank isn't bad itself. Right, let's get down at how you can actually earn the tank right now, because, you know, it's, yeah, it is time to actually have a look. First things first, what do you have to do? Well, you get a series of tasks. They go from task 1 to task 8. There's like set rewards, so you'll get rewarded for each task you complete. There are multiple tasks within each like subsection, if that makes sense. So you've got 1, 1.1, 1.2, and then similarly for all of the various different ones except from task number 8. What do you get from the rewards? Well, let's have a look. The first one, obviously it's going to be the easiest kind of contracts to actually complete. It's different from the previous kind of style of contracts that you used to have within World of Tanks console, whereby, you know, you had a set list where you could go to. This one instead has win a battle, you'll get a medkit, and then you'll complete the task. Then you also have earn 2,500 XP within any number of battles to earn a repair kit and a fire suppressor, and then you've completed the whole subsection of tasks 1.1 to 1.2. So what happens then, once you've completed that, you can then move on to task 2. You have all of these all in a row, so you don't have to complete task 2.1, then task 2.2, and then task 2.3. You can then it unlocks all of them, then you just have to complete each individual task within this subset, if I am right in thinking so. And then number 2, obviously medkit, you have to win 2 battles in a row. They get kind of harder as you go on. Of course, you can pause the video and have a look at them if you want to look at them a little bit more. Place in top 5. Then you have earn 3,600 or more XP. And then as you go on, you get more and more difficult with things like destroying 5 or more vehicles, destroy 1 or more vehicles that are further than 250 meters away, earning 6,000 XP. And then if we take a look at some of the higher tasks, you've got things like earn 178,800 XP in any number of battles, and you have to play certain vehicles in order to complete this. So in order to complete the Plaguebringer, you would have to earn that 178,000 XP within a medium tank only, and it has to be tier 6 to 10, so you have to play in a tier 6 or above in order to be able to actually complete this task, which is task 8.1. So think about that. Make sure that instead of just automatically thinking they're going to be, a certain one, some of them are only available to medium tanks and certain tiers, and obviously think about that when you are playing in your various different tanks. Of course, as you get further on, the rewards get better, and you can get days of premium, which is fantastic. You can get XP boosters, you can get vehicle XP boosters, you get silver boosters, all sorts of interesting stuff that are just going to be a nice addition to your account, as well as the actual tank and the commander itself. So fantastic way to earn some extra silver, extra XP boosters, extra basically everything, and obviously the tank itself and premium consumables here, as you can see. So fantastic way of getting yourselves a new free premium. Obviously that's a thumbs up from me. Any kind of free content is always good for players that are new to the game, and also some of the older players who really haven't had the chance to pick up the Plaguebringer within the previous contract system that was in the game, of course that being mercenary tanks. Now, this isn't the only free tank that you can pick up currently. One thing I should note is that mercenary tank one is between the 6th of July and the 10th of August, so you've got over a month in order to do that. But yeah, getting back to the new ones, we have 2 tanks you can earn within this operation. You've got 1 week in order to complete it, so you've got from the 5th of July to the 13th of July, and basically it's to celebrate, or not celebrate, but commemorate the Kursk battles, basically. And the tank battle that happened in the city of Kursk. And that is basically between the German and Soviet forces clashed in a conflict that would last until August 23rd. So it was a long battle, 6,000 tanks in total within that kind of operation or battle, basically. And this one just commemorates that. So what does this basically come in with? You've got Op for Engineering, whereby you can pick up the German Tier 5 Stug 4 tank destroyer, so it is a Tier 5, along with the Soviet Tier 5 Churchill 3 heavy tank, so 2 of them. Of course, if you have either of them, you will be able to pick up the equivalent cost in silver, which is 800,000 for the Stug and 600,000 for the Churchill 3, which is not bad if you need a little bit of extra silver and you already have these, and the challenges aren't too difficult. But what I should note is, of course, have a look at the challenges right now, which are Stage 1. You have to complete Stage 1 to 4. Once you've completed all of those, you will then move on to getting the other one. Of course, you have to do both, and then once you've completed both, or 8 stages in total, you can then pick up both of the tanks. In terms of what the stages are, they're pretty easy. Stage 1 of the German and Western Alliance, you have to play German vehicles and you have to play in a light tank. You'll have to assist with 3,000 or more spotting damage in any number of winning battles. So you have to win and get assistance equaling 3,000, but you can do that over multiple games. Once you've completed that, it's Stage 2, which means you'll have to play German and Western Alliance vehicles only. Which basically means you have to play in a German vehicle, or you can go onto the Cold War game mode and play Western Alliance. So It's either you play on World War II German or Western Alliance Cold War. It's available to medium tanks only, and you must have completed the Stage 1 operation as well. Destroy 10 or more vehicles in any number of winning battles will get you it, and that is fantastic. Then we have Stage 3, moving on after you've completed that. It's available to, once again, German and Western Alliance, and you have to play heavy tanks, and then you have to destroy 10 or more vehicles in any number of winning battles, which is pretty easy, to be honest with you. Like, it's something you'll do over the course of the week anyway, and if you just choose to play your German tanks, it's basically going to make it easy. Although, I must say, you have to play in the certain specific classes, so if you don't have light tanks, medium tanks, or heavy tanks, then it could be a little bit of a problem for you. And then Stage 4 being tank destroyers, and you have to deal 12,000 or more damage in any number of winning battles to complete Stage 4. Basically, once you've done that, or you don't have to do it in this order, but once you've completed that, that is all of the German vehicle stages done. And then you can either move on to the Eastern Alliance and Soviet stages, or you could do it the other way around, so it's vice versa, whichever way you want to do it, or you can do a mixture of both, so you could do Stage 1 of the German one, then get up to Stage 2 of the Soviet one, and then go back and do Stage 2 and 3 on the German one. Whichever way you want to do it, you can basically do that. The Soviet one basically requires you to play Soviet vehicles, you have to play light tanks. It's very, very similar, of course. You have to do available to medium tanks, then you've got a tank destroyer and then a heavy tank one. And the stage goals are assist with 3,000 or more spotting damage, exactly the same for the destroy 10 or more vehicles in any number of winning battles. And then Stage 3 is deal 12,000 or more damage in any number of winning battles, and then Stage 4 being the heavy tank one, destroy 10 or more vehicles in any number of winning battles. So, pretty easy way of doing it in terms of if you have all of these and you don't really have to pay much attention to it, to be honest. You don't have to strive to do anything. None of them are particularly too difficult, considering the classes tend to accustom the certain stage goals and stuff like that. So yeah, of course, if you're interested in picking up these 2 free premium tanks, yes, they are only tier 5s, but what they are kind of capable of is quite a nice kind of damage, to be honest. This Stug 4 is really nice. Churchill 3 is good, but it's not the most overpowered tier 5. Certainly for free, always pick up a free premium if you have the time and effort to be able to actually pick it up. So yeah, definitely a big thumbs up from me. 3 new free tanks within World of Tanks console that are actually kind of premium or mercenary, whatever you want to call them. Fantastic way to get them. And of course, we have some bundles this week that we will go through, and these are the themed tank bundles. We'll give my opinion on which ones are actually worth it. And hopefully that will help out any of you looking to purchase some premium tanks this week. First one being the high caliber one, 15,500. Oh my god. You've got the Lerva, which is a pretty decent heavy tank. I think it's actually pretty underrated within the game. Not a lot of people give it credit where credit is due. This tank is actually quite nice. And then we have the Bison T103, which is actually a really nice tank destroyer. Interesting, plays slightly different from any tank that kind of I really think about. And then the Guardian STG, the kind of runt of the litter here, being pretty average medium tank. Yeah, not really particularly very good. For 15,500 gold, which is like £50, £40? Not particularly one I would want to go for personally. But I guess if you really like your heavy tanks and these heavily armoured kind of tanks within all of the different classes, so you've got a heavily armoured medium one that doesn't actually really have heavily armour. It's not particularly a great one. It pretends like it's got armour, but realistically everyone just pens it anyway. And then the Lerva, kind of similar. I think 15,500 is a good price if you wanted all of them. But bear in mind the Guardian STG isn't that great, so yeah. Take that into account. Then the mobile and deadly, we've got the Panzer 58 Mutz, the SU-130 PM, and the Object 252U Defender. I'm seeing a pattern here. 2 pretty decent tanks in the SU-130 PM. Really, really fantastic, actually. And then the 252U Defender, of course, the broken Tier 8 heavy tank within the game. And then bundle in a terrible medium tank that has just not aged well within the current game meta. not particularly the best price. But then again, you know, if you want the SU-130 and the Defender, you would only technically be paying about 7,000 for each one. So it is a significant discount if you wanted both of them at the same time. And of course, if you already own the MUTs, then this is a fantastic deal because you will get refunded the gold value of the MUTs as well. So think about that when you're purchasing this. This could be a good choice for you if you haven't got either of these and you're interested in getting your hands on some pretty competitive tier 8 tanks, as Wargaming would say. Then, game changers. T-44 100 medium tank. Yeah, decent one. Not particularly amazing, but yeah, it has kind of spaced armor on the side. It's pretty good. German tier 8 icebreaker. I don't really like these side-scraping terrible tanks because often you'll get penned in the turret. It's a rear-mounted one, so I guess you could side-scrape, but the turret is kind of fairly weak, so people fire premium, and of course the accuracy improvements mean that people can pen your weak spot on your turret fairly reliably, and yeah, it's not particularly one I would like within the game. People on PC, I think, call it the ball breaker because it is slow and it's an ogre, and yeah, just let me know what you think of the icebreaker. I know it is fairly okay, but it's not the best in the game. And then, of course, the Iron Rain Borsig Waffenträger, which is also a really nice tank that, for some reason, every single week gets released. Yeah, don't know why that is. Maybe that's because it's pretty broken and people like buying it. But yeah, 11,250 gold, fairly decent price for 3 tier 8 premiums. On average, you're probably playing like 3,600 or something like that, 3,750 for each of these tier 8s, which is really, really good price, to be honest. And if you play World of Tanks PC, you know exactly how good that price is, considering most tanks on PC cost more than 11,250 just for one. So yeah, take that into account. Think about it. Do you want all of these? If you do, then go for it, because these two are pretty decent, and then this one is also pretty decent. That's probably the best overall bundle for the tanks that you get in it. And then OP4 German, you can pick up 1, 2, 3, 4 premium tanks for 11,750. The only problem is one of them is a Ferdinand, which is awful. One of them is a Panther 88, which is pretty mediocre. Can be good if a good player is playing in it, if an experienced player is playing in it. But for the majority of players, you know, if you're an average player, it's a pretty poor to medium tier 8 medium tank within the game. Yeah, it's not one that you're going to be having great games in unless, of course, you just get lucky and have that great game, or you perform really, really well in German medium tanks anyway. So, yeah, not one that's particularly great. Kraft Panther 4 is okay, and the Citadel Tiger is also okay. But, yeah, not justify 12,000 gold for that one, unless, of course, you really are a fan of German tanks in the game and you want to be a collector of German vehicles. Then finally, OP4 Soviet, 9,250 gold, 55% savings. What? Why didn't they just put it at 60% like all the rest of them? Yeah, Slayer SU-152, the Bear KV-122, and the HMH T-34-85M. I'll tell you what, all of these are actually really good. All of these are very competitive at the tier. The SU-152 Slayer has a fantastic reload with if you put on all of the DPM perks and also all of the kind of view range and camo, and make sure that you're hidden and just basically pump out the damage very, very quickly. Bear KV-122, 122 on a tier 7, really, really nice. Very, very good tank within the game. And then the HMH T-34-85M is probably one of the best tier 6s all round within World of Tanks at tier 6, because the T-34-85M is just fantastic anyway. Hopefully that kind of sums up this video. If it did, make sure to leave the like, and also if you aren't already and you want to keep up to date with the latest news on World of Tanks console, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to check out more content, it should be on screen right now. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.